Good morning and welcome to the We Don't Know Jack Show, featuring Nico as the Joker and Kevin as the Ace, going all in on all topics. And remember, we don't know Jack.
I like this music now.
Let me know.
I think this is better.
Yeah.
This is better. Put it on here, maybe. Yeah, on the website, right? Yeah.
You're on.
All right, dude. End of the year. We Don't Know Jack Show.
2021.
Putting it in the books, man. You know, I was trying to think about this, Kevin. On the way here, I was to the studio. I was thinking we've done probably 12 or 13 episodes, so we're just we're still getting our feet wet. But realistically, when I think about that, as far as like a year goes, and you think there's 52 weeks, man, I guess we've done it for about a quarter of the year.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
Pretty close. Good morning, everybody. This is the Ace. Happy New Year, or New Year's Eve. Man, I'm excited to have the show today. We got a lot of cool content. Happy New Year's Eve. I hope everyone had a good Christmas. We've got some cool gifts that I got that I'm going to show. Nico's got some funny jokes as usual. Nico, talk us in. What we're going to talk about today?
Well, before we opened up, Kevin was telling me about his next door neighbors getting some of his gifts. You know, this time of year, probably all time of year at this point, because of our buying habits and the way that we receive things, FedEx, Amazon, USPS, right? UPS, all hitting you up with packages, right? And you know, they've gotten to the point where now they take a picture, you know, to let you know that I've delivered it to your door, and they send it. And so Kevin was just telling me that his next door neighbor.
Yeah, so my wife shows me, she's like, man, they're sending these packages back. It got delivered to the wrong address. And I'm like, they took a picture? And she goes, yeah, they're taking the photos to make sure they delivered it. And I looked at the photo, I'm like, that's the neighbor's house. So I caught her in her car, and I'm like, hey, get over here. And she came over, and I was like, I think you got a couple of my packages. I'm pretty sure the picture that they sent us was your house. And she goes, oh, hold on, let me go look.
Yeah,
you know,
let me go check.
Let me go check. My sister's been buying me a lot of stuff on Amazon, and she came back with my 2 packages, and she's like, oh, it was in my sister's room. Both opened. So come on. You know, you're going to jack my package and open it? You know I live across the street from you.
You know, so what I told Kevin is like, man, unfortunately, this happened to me last week before Christmas.
So you're a thief.
You don't know who's ordering stuff at your house, right? You know, so I got a package, just like always. I rip it open, pull out the stuff. I'm like, I didn't order this.
The package is usually within a package now on Amazon.
This was just an envelope, one of the paper type envelopes, and ripped it open, take out. I'm like, what is this? You know, leave it on the counter. Throw the package away. A couple of days go by, you know, and my wife's like, why'd you order those earmuffs? And I was like, what are you talking about? You know, like, it's just like the ones that are on the counter. Like, first of all, I didn't know what those were, you know. I honestly thought there was some kind of like bra cup or something like that. And I know my wife needs that, but in my mind I was like, oh, these go on your titties, you know. And so I just left them there. And it turns out I go back and look, they're actual earmuffs. I say, oh man, dude, we didn't order these.
Yeah.
I go into our trash can where I threw the package, and it's down. I have to dig a little bit, you know. And I pull out this paper package, and I look, and it's got my neighbor's name and address on it. I'm like, dang it. I can't even put these back in this package because it has coffee grounds and freaking fruit residue all over it, you know. And I'm like, oh my God, dude. So I go over to the neighbor's house and tell him, man, listen, my kids have been opening up all the packages.
So you did blame this on your children like that lady blamed it on her sister?
Absolutely.
What'd they say?
No, Dad, you know, Merry Christmas, you know. So yeah, they were cool about it, you know. Man, I was like, what? I was like, dang it, man, I got to start looking at the freaking packages, you know. Wasn't expecting that, man.
At my house, it's a little bit different. So I live in the Heights area, and a lot of the houses have the gates around the front of the yard too. And I never leave them unlocked because I don't want people coming up to my door. So our packages just get thrown over the fence. They just throw them.
Really?
You know? And I have video cameras out front. I see some of the guys sailing them out, you know. And I'm like, at least set it down. And then some of the guys with the big packages will go through and then they'll stick their hand in the picket and like lower it down. Like those are the good drivers.
They're doing a good job.
But yeah, they sail them. It's pretty funny.
That is funny. Man, one thing we forgot to talk about, Kevin, last time was we did mention going to Bo's comedy night.
Yeah.
What we didn't mention was that you and your wife, me and my wife, got together for dinner in Old Town Spring, which is a very cool area, right, especially around the holiday time, in North Houston. Any case, we go there, we eat dinner. I won't name the restaurant because I don't want to,
I'll name the restaurant. It was One Cheese, and I don't care because there was a lot of weird things that happened, and I'm going to let you tell your story, but the waiter was the weirdest. He was over talking all these crazy events, and I was like, "Give us our food, man. We don't need the rundown of the history."
What crazy events was he
the
talking
ghost stories? Like he had all kinds of stuff. Like just serve me my food.
Yeah.
So,
This is upstairs is where the owner's wife
and the place that burnt down
killed him after masturbating.
I don't know what he said. It was something.
I'll take the lamb chops.
Oh, bro, great selection, sir. Any case, I'd been to this restaurant once before with my wife, and she liked it, and so we went back. And I forgot before we got there, when we're there, I say, "Oh my God, this is the place with the weird ass restroom." And I tell Kevin and his wife, I say, "Y'all got to go into the restroom before we leave."
So at that point, I was like, "What am I walking myself into?" Like I had no idea what was to come.
So let me I'll describe the scenario for you, or the so you can see visually what this looks like in your mind. You walk to the right of where the server station is, where they got tea and water and cups and everything like that. You walk to the right of that. You go back, and it's just an open space with a giant circular sink that you can hit from all four sides.
It's a trough. It looks like an old bathtub.
Yeah. And people are washing their hands in there. The weird part is there's not a men's and a women's. They're all in the same area washing their hands in the same space. To make things even more strange, the men's and women's stalls surround that trough on all sides as you walk in, and they're all together.
What I was disappointed about in the setup, though, is that they were walled all the way up with a closable door. Because I went in and my wife went into the one next to it, and I was going to try to grab her feet. So you're enclosed in these restrooms, right?
But you walk out, and you could be opening or closing a door, and there's a woman, a man. If you're a man or a woman, there's vice versa there. There's children.
Yeah.
And then you all go from the space of using the restroom to washing your hands. Now, one thing I did tell Kevin, I said, "Hey, look, go into the restroom. When you come out, give me the first thing that comes to your mind." I don't think he was on the same page with me, but
I wasn't on the same page. So when I walked in, there's a lady that's washing her hands, right? And we both look at each other, and I'm like, awkward, and she goes, extremely. And so I walk up, and I'm washing my hands because I was going to wash my hands after I ate and then go to the restroom. And I'm like, okay, so this is obviously a unisex type of thing. And so this lady comes out, and I just look at her, washing my hands. Because I've been in these bathrooms before.
Making eye contact.
I just make eye contact. And then I go into the stall, and I just have to go number one. And this is where the story gets interesting.
So my reaction upon visiting the men's stalls is that this restaurant has found a way to deter men from dropping a deuce at their restaurant. Because when you go into the men's stalls, there is only a urinal. And I'm thinking to myself, if I'm a man and I desperately need to drop a deuce, am I like having to go to the women's stall because they obviously have a sit-down stall?
You wouldn't back it up and put it in the urinal?
I
wouldn't.
I wouldn't. I know I've seen that done before.
Gross.
It's really awesome. And you can't clean that out. I mean, like it doesn't flush down. You got to clean that out, you know.
Somebody
Gross,
does.
man. Dudes are the worst.
So I didn't recognize it, and I came out, and I'm infatuated with restrooms. Like one of my first businesses was working in restrooms. We put those TV monitors where they'd scroll advertisements over the urinal. So I'm very surprised that I did not realize I was walking into a stall with a urinal. I've never seen that before. Not in a stall. I mean, usually they're lined up, and you're checking peckers on the left and the right if there's a guy, right?
And these are just urinals for men.
Just urinals.
Just urinals. There is no way for a man to drop trowel and sit his butt on a commode unless he goes into one of the women's stalls.
Very strange.
Marked women. With women and men all around seeing you go in there.
Yeah. So the other funny thing that I noticed is that my wife, Nico's wife, and I all went into the stalls at the same time. And I don't know if they designed this, but I started trying to yell in there to see if I could embarrass them.
Soundproof.
It must have been soundproof because I was like, "Are you taking a shit in there?" Messing with my wife, and she obviously couldn't hear me.
Oh, man.
It was very interesting. Yeah, Wishy Brothers. I don't care to say it. It's a cool place. Got a lot of history. You know.
Yeah.
Around.
So,
What
yeah.
do you say? It's been around since like the 1890s.
Yeah, it was like the first
burnt
place
down.
to create the whiskey cake he was telling us about, right? So what happened was they had the night before Prohibition was about to end. They had one last hurrah here at this place, and everybody's getting liquored up, and then they're having there's prostitutes there too, so they're having relations.
Yeah.
Everybody wakes up in the morning at this brothel, hungover, and the only thing that they have left to eat or drink is what was left of the whiskey and a cake. And so they just pour the whiskey on the cake. Everybody eats that for breakfast, and now that's the dessert that they're famous for.
The
whiskey cake. Yeah.
So he told us all about the whiskey cake. I wish the fucker would have told us about that bathroom. Because if you had not sent me in there with questions in mind, and I walked in, I would have thought I was in the women's bathroom and probably bolted out. It was very uncomfortable.
Yeah, well, it's weird. It's really weird.
Check it out, Wishy Brothers.
I would say, like, if you go to Old Town Spring, you have to go there.
Yeah.
Just to check out this restroom situation. But do go upstairs too. There was a nice little area upstairs, a patio. They had some live music, bar area up there. That part was cooler because there was an actual like men's and women's restroom that you could lock the door and sit down if you needed to take a dump.
I think if we would have known about that spot, we probably would have ate up there because it was really cool and they had a big outside patio. It was nice outside.
Kevin.
Yes, sir. What you got for me?
Well, you had COVID stories on your list. And,
I do.
And I bring it up because with this new variant, Omicron, like almost everybody I know right now has caught COVID over Christmas time.
So during when we talk about COVID, I've managed to name the Omicron as many different weird names as possible. So throughout the episode, it'll be called Rom-Com, Romney-Cromney, Omicron-Nanon. And my mom's like, people are going to start taking you serious. And I'm just going to be like, it's the new strain.
It's the new strain.
You don't know. Fake news. Here it is.
Yeah, Omicron, named after one of the Autobots.
I like rom-com.
You know what Autobots are?
Oh, yeah, the Autobot, yeah. Is that his name?
One of the Transformers, Omicron. Yeah.
All right, so do you want to start with your COVID? Because I want to get through it.
I don't have any COVID stories. So
okay, so
I want to hear yours.
The funniest one, I guess. I have a couple funny ones. But the one that I don't have COVID.
Get tested.
Yeah. I've been tested or whatever, vaccinated, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
So I'm going home and I'm traveling down Cavalcade and I come to a stop and I'm thinking it's normal traffic. So the cars all go and we all kind of creep down and I notice that the lady's parked in front of me is hanging out the window saying something to the guy in front of her. He gets out, says something to her, and then grabs what looks like a to-go bag outside of the trunk of his car and gets back in. I didn't pull forward because there was an exit out, but I assumed the guy was a delivery driver or something getting the food out, and he had his flashers on. So I thought his car was broken down. And I was talking to my mom. I was like, Mom, let me let you go and help this guy. So I get out, and I'm like, hey, you know what's up, man? We'll push the car, you know? And he's all like, no. And I don't know how good of English he spoke. He was he's from Indian or Pakistani descent from the looks. I don't know. But he was like, no, COVID. And then I realized he's like, testing site. And I'm running up on this dude, and he's masked up and like kind of trying to get away from me. I was all ready to push his car out of the way. And then after I realized I, got into the other lane, there was 50 cars.
All people getting tested.
All getting tested.
Yeah,
and they got tested in a half of a container.
Wow.
So they had taken like a container that you would see
drive through.
No, like on a container from the boats.
Right.
They cut it in half, and then they just had the roll up door, and you would drive up, they'd swab you, and then you'd go in. But I thought it was hilarious. This guy was like trying to push me back, and I'm all like, "Hell, I'll help you move your car." But yeah, it was pretty funny. Trying to think what else I thought was funny.
Man, was that it? Dude? The one COVID story?
Yeah, no, this is the other one that I wanted to talk about. So this might be mainstream news. You might have seen it, but the TikTok girl that got caught in the airport or airplane.
Never heard.
So she goes on this 15-hour flight, right? Jesus. And halfway through, about 4 or 5 hours, 6 hours in, don't quote me on any of these times, she decides, oh my God, my throat's hurting. Goes to the bathroom, takes a rapid test that she happens to have on her mid-flight, tests positive, and had to quarantine in the bathroom for the rest of the flight. And she put the whole entire thing on TikTok. I'm going to call you out, girl. You had COVID, and you went in there and took the test in the bathroom so you can get famous. Yeah. You already have like 20 million views on the TikTok. Yeah. Don't go on planes with COVID and try to be in the bathroom for 5 to 6 hours. It's ridiculous. I don't even believe she was positive, to be honest with you. I think it was all a hoax. But.
To be, listen, I think y'all should stop watching your video. If there's a way you can take back your video watch, you should do that, because this person is putting other people's lives at risk in order to become famous. That's not something to...
At first I was like, how the hell did she get that great a Wi-Fi to TikTok the whole thing? My wife's like, oh, she probably video then uploaded it. Which I guess that's possible. The other thing that I saw is that they, this is kind of some good news, and they do have a new COVID antiviral pill that's out. We kind of talked about this morning, and just a little information on it. You do have to have a prescription, and the doctor, you have to have a positive test, and the doctor has to write the prescription for you to go get it. They're distributing it at Sam's and Walmart to start, and it's one of the things that's comparable to a Z-Pack. So if you get it and you take the viral medication immediately, it's supposed to lessen the bad effects of it, which I think is great. And I was reading about it, and the guy said, what are they going to do? COVID shot, booster, and then now they're going to start giving out gummies. And the guy commented, and he goes, "That's $1 million idea right there." And
Only $1 million?
It would take $1 million to start. You could probably make hundreds of millions.
Hundreds of millions.
Don't quote me on the number, but you could probably make $1 million the first day.
Yeah.
If you came out, the vitamin gummy industry is huge. I was telling Nico that I buy the vitamin C ones, and I ate like 40,000 grams of vitamin C the other day. They were just so good, I was popping them.
Oh my God. This is going to come up later in our show, so I don't want to give it away right now. But we're going to circle back on the gummy vitamins situation. But I did mention to Kevin this morning that recently I saw multivitamins, vitamin C, and even melatonin in a jelly bean form. And I thought, I gotta try these all at the same time.
So I was making a joke with Sean, and I was comparing it to is that I was joking. I was like, I wonder how long it's going to take Colorado to jump on this and make some THC COVID pills. And you'd just be over vaccinated and they're doing whatever, because when they sell those edibles in Colorado, you might buy a candy bar, but it's like 20 doses, 10 doses, and you're going to take a bite of it? Like, most people eat the whole candy bar and end up tripping out. And I'm just wondering if they'll have that COVID antiviral gummy in Colorado. Someone's got to be thinking about the money he made in that. So it's just interesting. I am glad that the people that don't want to get the vaccination or aren't comfortable with it will have some ability to fight it. And I also think you can take the antiviral pill if you are vaccinated and start having extreme symptoms.
Well,
good news.
That's enough on COVID stories. You don't have any more COVID stories.
No. I did have one other one. Is that I was thinking of this idea, and I sent an email to Carmex, the lip balm. Yeah. So I'm trying to create a lip balm that when the COVID virus touches your lip, it disintegrates, and you can put it all in your nose, put it all on your lips. They haven't contacted me back yet, but I'm patent pending.
Yeah.
COVID Carmex.
Wow, so do not steal this idea. It's already taken. Trademarked on our show.
COVID Carmex.
Yeah.
Hopefully don't get a flag for copyright on that, but yeah, it's
well,
coming.
that's good, man.
That's all I got.
All right. Because it's New Year's Eve, and we hadn't done a Flashback Friday in a while. I had 2 Flashback Friday stories from New Year's Eve situations.
Yes, these should be good.
You're definitely with me for one of them. I don't even know if you remember this because this was just like everyday life for us. But I don't even know. I'm going to assume that we weren't old enough to drink, but we went
So what, we were like 16? Because wasn't that when we started?
No, we weren't 16. I think I might have been 19.
Yeah.
Which puts y'all, you, my brother, Mikey, it puts y'all
17.
a year to 2 years behind me, right? Maybe I'm 20.
Yeah.
But I definitely wasn't old enough to drink. And there's a liquor store, which is now a Specs liquor store across the street from Klein High School. But at the time, it was not a Specs. And we all went in there to get alcohol for the evening. And I remember thinking, man, I'm going to get a super cheap liter of vodka, and that way I don't have to spend all my money.
Yeah. And
I'll get this thing of Sprite or 7-Up. And I was just going to make mixed drinks all night, and sip with. And I think we were going out to Wes Everingham's house. Like his parents had some land, maybe out near Conroe or something like that. I don't remember where it was at. In any case, while we're driving around, because I think we made some stops before, I decided mixing these in the back of this car didn't make any sense anymore. And so I should just probably guzzle this liter of vodka.
Were you able to chug it?
I was able to chug it.
So I'm just going to go ahead and say that this is probably like 32 Flashback Fridays, at least the beginning of it, because the cheap bottle of vodka started a lot of the weekends.
Any case, I do remember going to Wes's house and moments, like little segments of things like, oh, there's a keg. No, you can't drink from it, Nico. You're trashed, I remember his mom and maybe some other females taking care of me on the restroom floor, but I found out later that people were taking cups away from me so I couldn't drink off the keg because I was blacked out, I think.
Yeah.
And I even heard from one young lady that I cussed her out and said, you don't want me to have any fun. You don't want me to drink. And then they caught me in his garage with a flower pot full of beer. To make things worse, when I wake up the next morning, I'm in a totally different location. I don't know where my car's at. I'm at Tony Gimateo's house, and I've pissed his bed. I've urinated all in his bed.
This is great.
I never made it to the countdown because I was gone at like 9 o'clock at night.
9 o'clock. So that's probably not going to change for this year for me. Like I'll probably
that's what it's going to look like.
Yeah, no, not the vodka, but the 9 o'clock bedtime for sure.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, it's funny. I saw a meme the other day that said something about 30's the new 40, or 40's the new 30, 50's the new 40. But as old, like the older I get, the more 9 p.m. becomes the new midnight.
So what's messed up is that for me, the 40 is like the new 60 for me.
The other way around.
I am beat up. I feel like an old man. My bones are chirping. And man, I even had to have my wife carry me to the car today. She had to carry me out.
Man.
Then put me into the car. But you know the real reason why?
Look at that.
I didn't want to get any water on these J's.
Get water on them J's.
Merry Christmas to me. J's number 4. These are limited edition.
Man.
I'm gonna plug one more thing for Christmas since it is almost the last day, which is really, really cool. Is I got this.
Man, my son would.
Maybe your son can come and help put us together
like this.
So this is the Home Alone set. It's huge. It's awesome. Limited edition. and it comes with a light kit that you can put lights
Yes.
all over it.
It's a
gonna
Lego
be,
set that says at the bottom, batteries included.
Yeah, batteries included, and there's an extra light set you can do that switches on different lamps. So I'm really excited about that. I played with Legos when I was young, but I was a baby child, so I didn't get any cool Legos. I got all the leftover Legos, so I had to like build my own stuff. And we used to build houses, and so this is gonna be pretty cool to build like a real one that's not like shitty Legos that my brother gave me. So. Well, that was my Christmas presents. You get anything cool for Christmas?
Well, I hadn't finished my Flashback Friday story.
Oh, I thought that was it. You waking up pissing in the bed. That's
I had two.
There's
I had
more
two
than that?
stories.
Oh, okay.
Two stories.
Two stories. Sorry.
Okay, the next one you definitely weren't there.
Okay.
But Nicole and I, before we were officially dating, we drove to Austin.
Can I interrupt you one more time? You peed the bed at Tony DiMatteo's house?
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to get that on film one more
Yeah.
time. Go ahead.
Sorry, Tony.
Sorry.
Yeah, I woke up. I was like, "Oh my god, freaking!"
So the best thing
Yeah.
about Tony is that Tony owns a giant recovery rehab now.
That's crazy.
And we probably partied harder at his house than anywhere in the world. But man, congratulations.
That is
Tony.
cool.
Yeah, it really
I
is.
do like that he has that now. So
It actually helps some of our
Yeah.
friends.
So the second Flashback Friday story, Nicole and I, we get in her 300ZX, and we drive out to Austin the day before. I think it was New Year's Eve. And so the first night, we're staying with Dan and Harold, two of our friends.
Yeah.
And drinking and smoking, partying, just having a good time, you know. Both of us passed out pretty early, and they were kind enough to let us have one of their rooms so that we could just, you know, crash on the freaking bed. The next night, so we're going into this whole thing, well, Y2K, you know, it's about to be the year 2000, and it's 1999, so it's never a more perfect time than to play that Prince song, you know,
Yeah.
Party Like It's 1999, you know, that definitely got played.
Yeah.
But we go with them to this rave that was at somebody's house, you know, there's a DJ. And I remember, like, before the countdown, like, I wanted to go out, you know, because I was high. When you're high, like, music just sounds so much different. Like, you can pick up little audible notes that you don't necessarily usually hear. And so I was like, let's go out to your car. You know, I want to listen to a couple jams off of the Marshall Mathers CD, and I listened to Method Man's, what was that, Countdown to 2000. He had...
So you left the inside rave with the DJ to go out to the car to listen to some gangster rap?
Yeah. That's
awesome.
yeah.
Because they were probably playing some boom, boom.
Yeah, it was like, you know, it was like
some
rave
crazy
music,
house,
you know,
yeah.
which is fine. I like that too.
It gets a little annoying now. Unless you're on mushrooms.
Oh, Judgment Day. Judgment Day by Method Man.
Yeah, perfect song.
Great song. Any case, we go back in. And as the countdown started out, 10, 9, 8, and I don't know if y'all remember everything about Y2K. There was a fear like the entire world would shut down. Computers couldn't even think anymore.
Yeah.
It was totally irrational. Any case, in my mind, I thought it was so stupid when people would talk about it. I was like, you guys are ignorant. Like, that's so dumb. You know, we get to 1, and the freaking lights go out. The whole place shuts down. No music is happening, and people are screaming. And I was like, damn, they were right. Turns out somebody had tripped the breaker on purpose, right on time, so that everybody would think it was a Y2K situation. And I remember that evening we crashed pretty hard too in a back bedroom of some house we didn't even know whose it was. All I said to Harold and Dan was like, "Don't leave us here. Come get us, please." Yeah, so that's a Flashback Friday.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fun Flashback Fridays at Harold and Dan's house, man. They had a party house, and then Westfall had a really good house that we partied at a lot too. And I don't know if it was New Year's, but this is worth telling, is that me and Dan, we were fucked up, man. And like, you know, sometimes when you're like fucked up and then you have like that sober moment, we had this sober moment, and we were on the ground with the Nintendo cords wrapped around us, like the St. Bernard dogs have the little pouch of liquor to save somebody, and we were just barking at each other. And we had this sober moment. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? And then we went right back at park and right back at it, man. So, yeah, there was a little bit more than weed going on.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that reminds me of one of my favorite memes. It was those fake motivational posters.
Yeah.
And it's just some kids who they look discombobulated and they're totally out of it. You can tell they're high as hell from different things.
Yeah.
You know? And it was like they're doing their bodies are all contorted weird. You know, they look dumb. And the thing down at the bottom says drugs. It says in italics, it's like, damn, they make us dance cool.
Or at least think you dance.
Yeah,
cool.
at least think you do. Yeah.
I used to think that I could do some like liquid stuff, and then I watched the recording of myself.
Like,
and I was like, I cannot do that again.
Man, the unfortunate part about coming home from that trip is Nicole totaled her 300ZX. We were coming home from Austin on the way back to Houston, and somebody cuts. At that time there was only 2 lanes, and somebody cuts over in front of us, and without thinking, just to dodge them, she slides over into. We were on the left lane. She slides over into the shoulder, picks up gravel with her tires, and we start spinning out. And we spin across all lanes, the 2 lanes of traffic, hit the ditch, and I'd never seen this before. So it was awesome to me to be in it, because I've only seen this in movies. We flipped end over end twice. Like the car.
Hood trunk.
Wow. And when we finally come to an end, we're basically on the top, upside down.
Wow.
Of the car. And I wasn't wearing my seatbelt, and I smashed both of her T-tops and her window out with my body.
With your head?
Yeah, just psh, psh, psh. So, we're in shock. People are already pulled over. Once the cops and everybody get there, it happened pretty quick, I think, because we were still stuck in the car.
Yeah.
And they finally get the thing, open, the door open, and they're getting her out, and they just let me crawl out by myself. Right? There's like all these first responders, and they're helping this young lady, and they're letting me crawl out by myself. And my shoes have come off in the process, like they were flying all around in the car.
Yeah.
And so I'm like crawling out on the grass, like this. And I watch this police officer hold my shoe and go, looks like somebody's shoe. And he throws it into the ditch. I was like, I'm just chopped liver over here, man. I got helping this young lady, but it can't help me.
That's funny. So there's always the one shoe that you see in the road.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
Man,
when I was pretending to go to college, my photography was my major, and I went around and took some pictures of those shoes, and I wanted to document all of it. Someone's already done it. There's a huge album of shoes. So maybe it's that cop. At all accidents, he's taking one shoe and throwing it out.
I don't even know that I got the shoe back. It was a black shell toe Adidas.
Yeah. Be on the lookout,
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
Be on the lookout.
Anyways, all right, so that wraps up the New Year's Eve Flashback Fridays.
All right, so I'm looking forward to making a Flashback Friday for this New Year's Eve. I got courtside seats
I've never been courtside.
to the Rockets game.
Yeah.
And I don't do a lot of sporting events, but when I do, I want to do it good. I don't want to sit up in the rafters. I don't do it enough to have to save that money. We're making a big event out of it. The tickets were a little bit pricey, but I'm so excited. It's going to be fun. I think we're probably going to have to wear a mask. I don't know if it's going to be mandatory. I think we probably will. I mean, we've talked about COVID. It's kind of confusing if, it seems like everybody's getting it. So I don't know.
Everybody's getting it, man. I've seen a lot of places that will have the sign saying you got to have it, and then you walk in and nobody's wearing it, and you're like, well, I guess I could take this off.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man.
We'll see. I'm excited about the game. They're playing the Miami Heat, so it should be a fun game.
Well, man, before I get into the next subject matter, do you have anything that you wanted to?
No, not really. Wanted to say congratulations to Andre Johnson for playing for the worst football team for half his career and then getting nominated into the Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Andre Johnson. Man, listen. I'm so sorry that you had to play for the Texans because I really think that you should deserve some rings. But he did make it to the Hall of Fame. They announced it. And
they announce the nomination, right?
I think he's in. No, he hasn't gone all the way in, but
I'll have to look it up. That would be excellent. I didn't hear about that, which is weird.
It was all over the news this morning
Okay.
and yesterday. They had an interview with him. He was kind of emotional. The interview quality wasn't very good. It sounded like he was on a cell phone, but he talked about it. He really hadn't. I don't think he had really digested the importance of it. He said, when he got back around his mom, they would probably hit home and realize what he had accomplished. I loved Andre Johnson.
Yeah,
I wish
Dre
he
was
could
the
have.
best, man.
I wish he could have played for a team that did him justice, and he was so loyal to a fault.
Yeah.
And we've talked about J.J. Watt experiencing the same thing. So, congratulations, Andre.
Yeah. JJ, by far, JJ ended up surpassing Andre as probably the best Texan ever, but Dre is the second best and has a special place in most Texan fans' heart because he was the only thing that we had going on for since the second year of our existence.
Wasn't a bad thing to only have going on. I mean, he was scoring touchdowns as a lineman. Doesn't he have more touchdowns as a defensive lineman than anybody? Or
you're talking about
JJ.
JJ. Yeah, I was still talking about Andre.
Oh, I'm sorry. But both of them.
Yeah, they're great human beings too.
Do a lot for the community. JJ Watt has done so much for the community. It's amazing, and he still continues to do it. I think he's still a local Houstonian, even though he doesn't play for the Texans anymore. Am I correct?
That might be true. I mean, most guys who are elite athletes in all professional sports will have a place down here in Houston. I think one because it's fourth largest city in the nation. It should be third. Pretty close to coming up on Chicago. But also the diversity that you find here is like no other place, right? Not just different lifestyles, but different nationalities.
So Houston's known for the vast diversity of all people. It's a melting pot of a city, and I often question when we hear all these news episodes about race and different, in other parts of the country. But in Houston, it's almost like we're all together. And I'm not saying racism doesn't exist in Houston, but there's just so many different nationalities that we all just get along. You don't hear about it here as much, and I think that's a good thing. And I think diversity should be everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about that, but I don't see a lot of the stuff that happens
in the other places happening here.
Yeah.
No, not for the most part. Yeah. So, well, man, here's a subject that I had. This is just random, but I wrote it down for today's show. Rules that I broke when I became an adult. Okay, rules that I broke.
I'm going to go ahead and say that I am not going to be able to participate in this list. My young adult life and Nico's young adult life is vastly different.
No, so this is maybe not what you're thinking. So I'm just going to give you...
Are we going rules or laws?
No, rules. Rules. Like, your parents tell you, don't do this, don't do that, you can't do it. When you become an adult, you get your own place. You go, well, I can do whatever I want, right? Like, so... Here's one, and these are in no particular order, okay? Leaving the fridge open. Like, if I go to
I'm with you now on this list. So it's rules you grew up with.
Yeah.
And oh, man, I'm going to chime in on these because I got
Oh, my God, dude. How many times do we have to hear, close the fridge, God, you're letting all the air out, you're letting the electricity, close the fridge.
Air conditioning the neighborhood?
Dude, I'll sit there and pour myself a glass of whatever's in the fridge, take out some leftovers, heat them up, put everything back together, put it back in the fridge, and then close it. I'll leave it open the whole time. I don't care. It's mine. I pay the bills.
So my wife, she's like anti-fridge opening and leaving it open. She thinks the food's going to go bad if the fridge is open for longer.
For 2 minutes? 3 minutes?
5 minutes, she's like, the ham's going to spoil. I'm like, no, it's not, babe. Like, we got at least 15, 20 minutes.
Oh, my God. As crazy as that is, right? Like, I still haven't managed to break the mold of leaving the door open for your house.
Yes.
Like, I realize how irrational it is to think that leaving the refrigerator open for 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes is going to, like, what would that really cost you in actual, like, utility bill? It couldn't even be 20 cents.
No.
You know?
No, but leaving the door open can be an air conditioning issue, and that's the one I want to say, because at my house,
Are you sure you haven't been programmed by your parents?
I think my parents programmed me, but I broke the program. So at my house, we might as well have one of those lockable devices on the air conditioning unit. And my dad and mom are from the old school where they like to save that money. And dude, we were running at 76, 77, 78, and it was hot, you know. But when I was little, I didn't notice it as much. I don't know if that's just from being a kid, and I don't know, you just don't feel as hot. But as I've grown older and going back to my parents' house, and at one point I was telling you earlier that I actually had to move back to my parents' house while we were in between buying a house. And my mom would be like, oh, you know, we got to keep the AC, this and that. And I would give her $50 and say, I'm turning it down. You know, I'm turning this down.
There's no way it costs that much.
No way.
No way.
My mom's got an app that tracks, tracks the electricity.
That's so crazy, man. So just in line with that type of thinking, I remember one day my son asked me, Daddy, can I roll the windows down? We're in Houston. You know, I mean, here in Houston, like, we use the AC and the fan at the same time. Like, that's how humid it is here, right? And I remember thinking, like, oh, man, I don't want to roll the windows down. I'm freaking hot outside, man. Like, I want this AC, you know?
Yeah.
And then I said to myself, dude, why don't you just run Bub? Have him roll the windows down and freaking blast the AC on yourself. Like,
live a little.
Who cares? Yeah, dude, what's it going to cost you? Like, how much money is that going to cost you?
So all you got to do is just do the regular unleaded instead of the super premium, and you're good. You balance it out.
You know what I mean? So, dude, I was like, yeah. So now sometimes if I'm like, yeah, dude, you can roll down the window, and I crank the AC on. I don't care.
So he broke you.
I know. I started thinking, I was like, you're right.
That's
It's
awesome.
illogical for me to think that that's going to cost me so much money. You know? Like,
that's funny stuff.
all right.
So I got one I want to throw in.
All right,
so I got a bunch of these, man.
Okay.
The rule breakers.
We might have some on the same list.
Okay, so my thing has to do with couches.
Okay.
And this still goes on to this day at my house with my grandkids, and my dad will reprimand me for doing it. Two things. We weren't allowed to sit on the arm of the chair.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
And the second thing we couldn't do is plop. And
Plop.
We couldn't plop. Plop is when you just plop on the couch.
I know exactly what plop
So
is.
what I do now is I will sit on the arm of the couch, then I will stand on the arm of the couch, and I will back flop as hard as I can on that couch. And I'm just like, screw the man, you know? The couch flop was a
freaking
big
rebel.
deal.
You're a rebel.
I am a rebel.
All right. So and again, these are in no order. When I started realizing that I'm an adult and I can make my own decisions, especially I have my own place, you know, I think I came to this rationalization at a holiday, right? Like Thanksgiving or Christmas. And I was like, man, I don't really want to eat exactly what everybody's eating for dinner, but I sure would like a lot of these desserts.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what, dude? I could eat some of the food and the desserts at the same time, or I can just eat dessert before I eat the food. I don't care. I'm an adult.
You're an adult. Do it.
So that's what I started doing, man. So it's not, like a lot of times I'll be at the family gatherings, and sometimes we do Thanksgiving at our house, you know, and people will see me make my plate, and I got like 3 or 4 desserts, and then maybe a little turkey and gravy and mashed potatoes, and they'll be like, oh, you already cut in the desserts? I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm an adult. I can do what I want. Nobody's worried about me eating.
So why were we programmed to eat in that order? You know, I think in some other countries they don't. I think they have cakes and little like small cookies before they eat, but I'm not really sure.
It's been drilled into your head.
It has been drilled into your head. And I'm proud of you for breaking the mold. And I'm proud of you for eating dessert first. I think that's a good option. I really am proud of you.
Here's another one. Okay, you can't swim until 30 minutes after you eat.
That was my next one. Go for it, man.
Dude, I'll swim and eat at the same time. I'll just eat pizza and swim at the same time. I don't care.
So what did they think would happen to you if you were to get into the pool before 30 minutes? And I used to ask that.
I think they think you would drown.
Why? No, I thought it had to do with getting sick to your stomach.
Oh, I thought they thought we would drown. See, nobody knows. That's
so nobody knows.
Nobody knows why they were saying it.
It's always
you gotta wait 30 minutes. I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? I'll jump in the pool right as I'm eating and pass me a chicken leg.
So I'm just going to tell you about this horrible story, man. I knew a kid growing up that jumped in at 29 minutes. He's no longer here.
So.
Yeah. No, he didn't die. He disappeared.
Oh, okay.
Gone.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Yeah, that's what happens. So, children, beware.
All right, again, no order.
No order.
Even right now, my wife will say to me, "You're not going to wash those berries before you eat them." You know, when I got them from the grocery store, I'm like, "Do you think that putting the blueberries or raspberries underneath the sink for 2 seconds, letting the water drain, then going like this, you know, like let all the water out, do you think that has cleaned them more than me just taking one out of the container and eating it?"
Yeah.
There's no way a rinse off of 5 seconds, 6 seconds, 10 seconds, whatever it is, has cleaned these berries more than you just taking it right out of the freaking container.
So the berries are grown in dirt and oftentimes fertilized with manure. I mean, that's how a lot of fertilization goes. So you're already eating a little bit of dookie, and I don't think rinsing them is going to get any of it off. It's already embedded into the berry juice.
I'm building my immunity for the apocalypse, okay?
Yes.
But I eat all my fruit without washing it. There's no reason to wash it.
Yeah, so I got another one too that kind of goes on with that, is that the not eating off the floor. The 10-second rule?
It's a great room.
Oh, I'm about 1 minute, 10 seconds, you know? And as
Shit,
long as
I'll
it
leave
has
the house and come back and it's still on the floor. Okay.
Oh, yeah, you'll eat it after an hour or two?
Oh, don't think I won't. Don't think I won't. I've thrown away half a hamburger in the trash can.
And you went back and got it out.
I wrapped it up, right? So I wrapped it up with the conscious idea that you might become hungry later. Yes, you're so full right now that you don't even want to think about food because you ate 2 of these already. But you may eventually want this. And I, as much as 3 hours, gone back into the trash can and pulled it out, unwrapped it, and ate the burger.
Man, I'm over here cracking up, and I've done it, and that's the only reason I left. And I told myself I would never tell anybody, but I'm just going to confess, man, I've done it too.
Hey, man, the first time you eat out of the trash is the worst time. It goes down. It's so much easier.
Once you start, you can't stop.
Oh my
man.
God,
Once
dude.
you can.
The sad reality of that statement is that I was told that by a guy who used to be addicted to drugs and was homeless. And he told me one time, because he was talking about eating out of the dumpsters. And I was like, dude, was that tough? He's like, it's only tough the first time.
Yeah, so you could say that about a few things, right?
Oh my God, man.
I'll keep it clean, but you can say that about
All
a few
right,
things.
so here's where we wrap back around to the gummy vitamins. I remember one time my mom was hanging out with a lady who was kind of like our aunt. She wasn't really our aunt. And so her daughter was kind of like our cousin. And so me and Frank, I think she was in between both of our ages. So it was me, her, and Frank. You know, we're all separated about a year. And they caught us just chowing down on her Flintstone edible vitamins. And they gave us like this tongue lashing like you wouldn't believe, like we were going to kill ourselves by eating all these vitamins.
The chalky ones?
The chalky ones,
Flintstone?
right? Dude, are you kidding me? Right now, if I don't have a snack sometimes and I need candy for like watching TV, I just freaking go take the children's vitamins, man, and freaking load up on all these gummy vitamins and be like, is this an acceptable amount of candy to eat while I'm watching this movie?
That's hilarious. Man, so I want to loop back around because we started the gummies with the COVID. And I want to show you this cool thing that my wife got me. So this is a 1980s, events that happened yearbook, and we were flipping through it, and we found this one thing, and it says, California. This is in 1980. California state officials place all of Santa Clara Valley under quarantine due to the Mediterranean fruit fly invasion. So, in my mind, from quarantine, everyone's locked down. And I'm like, I've never heard of us quarantining ever.
I don't remember that either.
They locked down Santa Clara Valley. That's a big area. So I was like, I got to Google this. I got to find out more. So I Googled it, and Santa Clara Valley, in part of California, is also on a quarantine this year for the same fruit fly.
For the fruit fly?
On quarantine.
Wow.
But what I found out is quarantine has not always meant the same thing.
Okay.
So there's 6 of these Mediterranean fruit flies that have been found in California. The quarantine is don't take your fruit outside of your farm. They've only quarantined
so you
the
don't
fruit.
Infect other people's
Yeah,
fruit.
it's just
I
the
got
fruit. But I was like, what the heck? They were quarantined over fruit flies?
No wonder we didn't hear about this. It's dumb.
It is dumb, but it was kind of confusing. I was like, wow, man, they shut down the whole California for fruit fly.
Interesting.
Very interesting. That's my 1980s news.
Here's something I'm going to do in the new year. I wrote this down. It's not a New Year's resolution. It's just something that I was like, man, I need to do this at some point just to feel like I've accomplished this thing that's been on my mind for a really long time. And that is rank every sitcom I've ever watched. And that might be 100 sitcoms. But like come up with a ranking list of like my top 100 sitcoms. And I thought to myself, well, who would even want to see this thing? And I thought, probably nobody.
Yeah.
But maybe my children one day will, when I'm gone, will think to themselves, let's see what Dad was all about, what his makeup was from, and they might sit down and just, watch like some of the episodes of some of the sitcoms that I've ranked,
So I'm down to make a sitcom list with you. And have you made your list?
No, I haven't started. This is something I'm going to do in the year 2022.
Okay, so I think that's great. But do you think we should break it up by decade? Because I'm already thinking of my list, and it's getting hard in my head.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, because I was like, man, I've got so many, if I just start spouting off names, you'd be like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that show,
I think that we should go ahead and break it down 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and then move our way up. Because there's way too many shows, I think, too.
Yeah, there is so many.
So that'll be the next.
And my list is going to be way different, because I'm going to tell you right now, Friends is not on my list. It's not in the top 100.
So, I don't know if we can be friends anymore.
Listen, that show sucks, all right?
I'm out of here! I quit.
And I know a ton of my friends
I quit.
love that
it's
show.
Over. Me and Nico's
They love
relationship is over.
They love it. I'm like, this show's trash. It's terrible. I mean, did I watch it sometimes? Yes, it was, this was an age where we didn't have streaming television. So, yeah, I mean, occasionally I had to watch an episode because I didn't have nothing else to do, right? But, yes, there were humorous moments, there were humorous episodes, but just as in general, the show, I wouldn't say, to my daughter, if you want to get a real idea of what Daddy thinks is funny, watch this series. No.
So it probably wasn't the funniest show. But it did relate to a lot of people's lives during that time in the same age bracket. And I watched it a little bit when I was growing up, but I binge watched it 2 times since then. And I love it. And they actually did a reboot where they all met back together this year. And that was the first time they've all been in the same place since the show ended, which I thought that was weird. No reunion before that. No time were they all in the same building, restaurant. They never did anything together as a group until last year, which I thought was very strange.
Interesting.
I'll forgive you for not watching Friends, but
yeah, I'll forgive you for watching it.
Can we still be friends?
Yeah, we can still be.
Okay, thank you.
I'll be there for you.
Yeah, there we go. Yes, I got a song out of them.
Yeah, exactly, man. All right, so that's that. We're gonna make that list.
I got another list, and I don't know if we'll be able to do it, and maybe we can find out if they're royalty free, and maybe we could just say them, but I'd like to play them, is theme songs. I'm real big into theme songs, and we play this game at Christmas where I have a big playlist of all the theme songs that we have, and we play them, and then whoever says it first gets a point, and it's kind of like a back and forth thing. That's a lot of fun. I don't know if we can play them because of the royalty stuff, but
what we should do is when we have guests again, and we haven't had guests for a few weeks on purpose. Really, we thought it'd be really difficult to schedule guests during the holiday season.
Correct.
But we have some coming up that have already actually reached out to us and said, hey, we'd like to be on.
Yeah.
So we'll be putting together another guest list. So we're going to have interviews again. These last couple episodes.
I also want to thank Jared. So Jared was the host of the comedy show that we went to, and he's put on a great show. We talked about it last week. He wants to come on to the show, and I really want to help him promote his comedy acts, his comedians.
I think
and I'm hoping we could help plug him, and he could help get some guests on there. The people that he had were hilarious, and that's one of hundreds of people. Remember Bo was telling us they did like a roulette wheel, and then it's just random who gets invited to the event. So he has a list of great comics that we'd like to get on his show. I think in the beginning of January we'll have Jared on and let him tell a story and a little bit how his comedy experience and putting on those productions has gone, and I'm excited for that.
I think it's great because Bo had mentioned to us before that they're all about bringing comedy events to the suburbs, so you don't have to travel downtown or inside the loop in order to see comedy. I wish more people would participate. That's COVID. I wish more people would participate in these events that are coming. We're going to be promoting the hell out of them because honestly, sometimes you like, well, what should we do this Friday night or this Saturday night? I don't know. Let's go out to eat. Let's go watch a movie. But what else can you do? Let's go see a band. I mean, this is one more thing you have to choose from.
And me not drinking anymore, it was a challenge when I decided, hey, I don't want to drink anymore. I want to, not have that kind of be the theme of everything I did. So finding these comedy shows now is me and Sean are super excited about it because it's a fun event. You don't need alcohol to laugh, and I think bringing those to the suburbs, like you said, is really important. And I encourage support and anything we can do to help them out. I think that's great because not everyone can travel all the way downtown, and this was a small show. It really was.
So this is just a random thought, man. This is one I've been playing with for my deep thoughts that I usually post, like on Instagram.
Deep Thoughts
by Nico Garrett, which is a spin off of or a copy off of the SNL skits from the late '80s, early '90s. So.
If you want to see Nico's Deep Thoughts, they are in the folder on our YouTube page.
Oh yeah,
so you can go back and see all those. They're really
absolutely. But I was playing around with this idea because cold pizza and hot pizza have very distinct tastes. They're different, but they're both good. I like both of them. I like cold pizza and I like hot pizza. But they're two different tastes, really, even though they're the same materials, right? But it's not good? It's freaking warm soda and warm beer. It's disgusting. And yet there's countries, that's how they, honestly, everybody over in Europe and Asia, they serve their sodas and beers warm.
So, I grew up drinking hot Dr. Peppers out of my house, and we still do it. I can handle
the hot syrup on your teeth.
I can handle it, and I'm gonna shout out to my boy Joe Joplin. We used to kill those what we called hot pockets. When the cooler ran out of ice, we drink them hot, and we called them hot pockets. It was a lot of fun.
God, that's gross.
It's really not that bad.
And I tell you what,
acquired taste.
The scent of beer changes with the temperature.
It does.
So much so that to me, it smells like urine.
Really?
Yeah, I hate beer. So,
I think though, in a lot of those places that you're talking about with the hot beer, it's more of a stout. I think it's not really like a cold lager.
I've read all about it's supposed to be served this way.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's disgusting.
Whatever. So yeah, if you drink hot beer, fuck you. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much.
Is that your bench about it?
That's my deep thought.
My deep thought. Pizza hot and cold, beer
good.
Hot and cold.
Two different things.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think I would say something like this. Cold pizza and hot pizza both taste delicious, even though they're two different tastes. But warm soda and warm beer taste like shit.
So you can definitely drink the cold beer, and you have your choice of hot or cold pizza.
Yeah.
Nice.
There you go. Well, here, I don't know why I wrote this down. Okay. Do you remember Benny Hill?
Benny Hill.
Oh man.
Friend, famous, clue.
After me and my brother would watch Saturday Night Live, and this is when we were much younger, younger than 10 maybe, right? Or right around 10.
Okay.
There would be a show called Benny Hill that would come on. It was an English sketch comedy where this old dude who was a pervert would have scantily dressed women, and he was always groping and touching them, and all the jokes surrounded and the skits surrounded him fondling boobies and butts. And as a kid, you're like, oh yeah, is mom watching? Again, I don't know why I wrote that down. it's sad that you don't know what Benny Hill is.
Yeah, I apologize for that, but let me ask you this,
Yeah.
and I'm asking everybody. Have you ever tried to catch the cable channel that you didn't get, but would flash a boob here and there? And if you say you didn't, you're a liar.
Okay. Most of the guys are about my age. Grew up with the same technology that I did, right? So you know about Spice Network.
96, channel 96.
It was somewhere in the 90s for sure. And you knew about this little situation that was like, if I click up and down on the channel controller, like up once, down once, up, down, you could get a split second. It would come in wavy and discolored, but you could still see the intercourse and the nakedness.
You could catch a boob.
You could catch more than that.
So my TV was a little bit more difficult, and I had to do the up, down, left, right, select, start, A, B, A, B. Like that always put it on, and I'd get like 5 seconds with that one. So.
Oh my God, man. Dude, left to their own, young men are perverts. Dude. It's disgusting.
I would never dirty altogether, all around. Disgusting.
Honestly, I think my mom promoted this maybe because she was a single parent mom. She was trying to figure out like a way for us to like become, we didn't have dads in our lives.
Oh, sure.
Right? And so, like, she used to be like, "Oh, do you want this Cosmo magazine?" We're at this. She was okay with us like having posters of females, like mine was Cindy Crawford, Frankie's was Christy Brinkley.
I had a Cindy Crawford on the back door of my closet, yellow bathing suit,
and she like
camel toed.
She like was promoting it almost, and then thought it was, a fireable offense when she found that we had Playboys underneath the bed. What is this Playboy? You kind of brought this on yourself, You kind of promoted this idea that women are like sex objects, which is not, now that I'm a husband and a father, I'm like, oh my God, dude, like this male society that, dominated and subjugated women was ridiculous,
Yeah, so that's changed a lot. And then
Good.
Me and my wife were joking about, I forget what movie it watches, and it doesn't really matter, but some of the movies made in the 80s and 90s could not air, or the network would get canceled, the actors will get fired. Like, there's some racy, like, taboo, weird stuff that happened in the 80s and the 90s that you would never get away with.
Bro, I have told Nicole, like, I've gone back and rewatched movies that I thought were great that I wanted my kids to watch. I've rewatched them and said, wow, like, did you as ladies have anything that was y'all's? Yeah. These movies are totally geared towards guys. And in them, like totally sexualizing and what's the word I'm looking for?
Demeaning?
Kind of making women to be like sex objects, It's sad.
It is sad, and I'm all about women's rights, and it's confusing me that all that went on. I mean, to me, women are a lot smarter and prettier. They should be running the world, not us. I mean,
I think women can do anything that men can do.
Aside
from, and this is the only thing I've talked to my daughter about this. If a man and a woman who are the same stature, same have the same height, weight, reach, all that kind of good jazz, and are both at the peak of their athleticism, I think there's just body structural differences that will make the man have an advantage. It doesn't mean that some woman couldn't kick my butt. I'm not saying that.
Physically, we may be stronger muscle stature, but if you know anything about martial arts, strength means nothing.
Again, I'm not saying a woman can't kick my butt. They definitely can kick my butt. Yeah. But I'm saying, like, if you took that woman who could kick butt in that martial arts and you took her man equivalent, she's going to have a tough time beating him.
On the average.
Right.
On the average.
Yeah.
There would be exceptions to that.
And some of it has to do with skeletal difference. Some of it has to do with lung capacity difference. Some of it has to do with muscle tone. Yeah, Yeah.
And some of it is so far back that it had to do with protection. The men were to protect and kind of hunt while the women stayed home and nurtured the kids, and that happens throughout the animal kingdom everywhere, I believe, right?
Yeah.
But as humans, we're kind of evolving. That's not necessary.
Sure, we can see that in the athleticism of women now, right? I mean, over the last 30 years, has been giant leaps as far as athletics accomplishments for women.
Yeah, definitely.
So
I got a question too. So we're getting kind of close to time. Did you want to talk about any of your New Year's traditions? Or I mean, we've been doing traditions all through the month of December. Did you have anything that you do special? I know there's some foods that people eat.
I mean, we'll sometimes, take part in those traditions, like eating black-eyed peas on the first day.
So what are the traditions?
I don't know. That's
black-eyed peas.
Yeah, that's one of them.
Cabbage. And
Cabbage,
bacon.
I've seen. Yeah, I don't know that I've done cabbage.
The other one has to do with like a pie, Irish pie, I think.
Yeah, Nicole.
A lot of them are Irish.
Nicole and the Cuban people, they do something. I can't even. I think it's grapes. They eat grapes on New Year's Day.
Huh.
It's some kind of luck or something like that.
Let me ask you this: does she wash the grapes before she eats them?
Yeah, she does.
If you serve the grapes, you purposely not wash them.
She can't stand it when I go to the refrigerator, open up the produce tray, take a handful of grapes, and just start popping them. She's like, "You're not going to wash those?" I'm like, "No,
You're a barbarian. You're a barbarian." I don't think we don't really have any New Year's traditions that we do. I live in the city, so we can't pop fireworks.
If I had to say one, it would be that, right? Like fireworks. It doesn't matter how old you get.
Okay, so you live in the suburbs
Yeah.
of Houston, Texas,
Right.
out around there. Explain some of the firework madness that goes on in the suburbs.
Listen.
Because some of my friends that I know will go to these places and spend thousands and thousands of dollars. I have one good friend of mine that has a cul-de-sac, and they'll all throw in $1,000, and they all come out. And some of these neighborhood firework displays are bigger than most small towns, like giant fairs. It's insane. Does y'all's neighborhood get down?
Everybody gets down in our neighborhood, and there's a deed restriction saying you can't do it. But they can't physically stop anybody because there's so many people that are doing it.
So I've rode through some neighborhoods, and it looked like a freaking war zone.
Yeah,
But,
absolutely.
they go boom, boom,
That's
there's
what it looks
smoke
like.
everywhere.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to watch a fireworks show, maybe from the house. We can kind of see downtown, so that might be fun. So you're just going to pop fireworks, and that's your plan?
Pop fireworks with the kid, obviously. With the kids, obviously, we'll do a countdown when it gets to time. So we'll have like on, one of the TV channels that does like the concerts, all night until the ball drop.
Yeah.
We'll have one of those on just in the background, and we'll eat, and we're gonna have some steaks and shrimp, and just hang out with the kids.
That should be fun. Yeah. So the Rockets game starts at 6, so we'll be home pretty early. And we might stay up and watch the ball and then go to sleep after that. Maybe grab some dinner on the way home. The Omicron's pretty serious. The Romney-Rom that's out.
Optimus Prime.
Optimus Prime strain is pretty bad. So I don't know exactly what's even going to be the protocol at the Toyota Center at the game, but I'm looking forward to it. I'd like to make an announcement to everybody, and this is some good news. We have been approved for a Spotify podcast channel, and we want to thank everybody. It's a big deal for us, and we also are going to be streaming live on Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts and a few other small ones that are kind of niche markets, but Spotify is a huge platform for us, and YouTube is obviously our favorite. The Spotify will just be audio. We enjoy the live YouTube videos. We think it gives a little bit more personal experience, but we also realize that some people just don't have the time to sit down and watch the video. So we've applied for our Spotify account. We were approved. We've been approved for the Apple Podcasts account. So all of our viewers will have another way to watch the show.
Or
if
listen.
you're on, or listen to the show. I apologize. Listen to the show. So congratulations. We appreciate all the subscribers that made this happen and appreciate the audience. We're getting close to time, so Nico, I'm going to say Happy New Year, and let's take us out.
Yeah, and Kevin, as much as we've joked about some of the technical issues, he's done a great job producing this show and all the behind-the-scenes stuff, getting us to where we are now and going further with his plans for the show. Man, it's been fascinating to watch. I'm not good with that kind of stuff, but he's gotten us to a level of credibility.
Yeah, so this has not only been good for us as friends to come on and share our stories, and I couldn't think of a better person to sit and chop it up with for an hour, but we want to learn how to do this so my branding company can help other people do this as
Absolutely.
well. And we also want to promote our local friends, artists, and try to give back to the community and with local people around. And again, man, I'm so happy that we made that Spotify thing. I encourage you to check out the website. If you're looking for all the material, it can all be found on there. Our Spotify is embedded into this page, so you can listen straight from that. All the YouTube videos were on there. Again, after the video, there's a subscribe button, share, like, do whatever you can to help us promote it. You promoting us is helping promote local Houstonians and local Houstonian businesses. So,
Well, again, thank you for subscribing. If you haven't but can, please hit subscribe. We appreciate you tuning in, watching this, and in the future, maybe just listening to the podcast. I do want to say this. I root for underdogs, and today, college football playoffs, I'm hoping Michigan takes down Georgia and Cincinnati takes down Alabama so that we don't have a repeat of the SEC championship for the national title. Happy New Year, everybody. I hope you have a good time bringing it in, and I hope that it's a peaceful and prosperous New Year for you.
yeah, Happy New Year, guys, and we're out.